One of the best tools and practices to help us slow down, to help us pause, to help us make conscious choices is meditation. It's brain training. It's exercising our mind. It's training our mind to slow down, to recognize the relationship to our thoughts, the busyness in the mind, all of the assumptions that we want to make, all of the judgments and the things that we react to. Meditation is this tool that helps the mind be stronger, calmer, more intentional and conscious. I do think going to the gym is a really good analogy. When you go to the gym to exercise, right? You do a class or walk on the treadmill or whatever you might do at the gym. Of course, you can't just go once and expect your miracles, right? Expect things to change. It's something that requires a consistent, constant, regular effort. But also, I think that when you go to the gym, it's very subtle and you can't always notice the changes that are happening until one day you have to, pick something off the floor and all of a sudden you realize that your legs are there for you and they're strong enough that you can lift the heavy box up off the floor. And it's like, oh, I just did that, right? But as you're going, you don't always necessarily have that awareness of, oh, today I got stronger. Today I can feel my muscles are bigger. Today I'm more flexible, right? Same thing with asana practice, with yoga on the mat, all of those things that are similar to that. And just like going to the gym or physical exercise, we seem to have an awareness, whether we do it or not, that it's good for us, right? That it's beneficial, that by doing that exercise, we have been taught and learned and know enough in our minds that it's good for us, right? Does everyone buy into the fact that exercise is good for us, right? So it does take that belief system and that understanding that there's going to be some benefit from it. And I do think that meditation is the same way. I think most of us here have seen the studies and learned, whether it's from me or someone else, and have some awareness that meditation is beneficial for us. And
Absolutely.
so it's very similar in that sense. And just like exercise, it is powerful for our mind, because meditating in a group does take meditation to another level. Well, when we meditate by ourselves, right, there's this practice of kind of getting calm, getting still, settling down. And when we meditate in a group, essentially that's all enhanced. It's often feels easier to settle down, even through Zoom, even though we're not physically in the same location, our energies kind of sink in, and in a way that's certainly unspoken and not even always intentional, we support each other in that settling process. It does require a certain level of buy-in, of faith, of belief in the practice in order to keep showing up for yourself. Once you notice that it's no longer, once you're no longer doing it, it's easier to notice how much it's helping you. The biggest thing that I hear is that the challenge that people have with meditation is this idea that they cannot clear their mind. Meditation is not about emptying your mind or clearing your mind. It's more about spending time with your thoughts, getting to have a relationship with your thoughts, and the practice of choosing our thoughts, to recognize that what's going on in our mind can be, we can direct and choose our mind. We can choose to give attention and weight to some thoughts, and we can let other thoughts fade into the background. So it is not a practice in eliminating thoughts or clearing the mind or emptying the mind. It's not that we are going to feel even settled all the time or peaceful when we're meditating. sometimes we can go to the gym and we just feel like we have no energy and we feel like we're not doing anything. And I only did 10 push-ups when I normally do 30 push-ups or whatever it might be. And yet, you know that you're still getting something from it, even if it wasn't as good as you wanted it to be, or as pleasurable an experience, or wasn't the way you thought it was going to be, right? You're still benefiting from it. And meditation is like that. The hardest part truly is to show up and do the practice. And when you do the practice, the mind gets stronger. The benefits creep in, and over time you begin to experience them. And what happens is someday you go to pick up the box and all of a sudden you're like, wow, I can pick up the box. Something, will happen. You'll go through a challenging time or a difficult experience, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, wow, I was able to stay calm. Or even like, people tell me a lot how it can help reduce anxiety, like before you go to the doctor or whatever. Like, it's like when you need it, it shows up for you. When something happens, it's all of a sudden like, oh, wow, I was able to not go down that rabbit hole. I was able to keep myself positive. I was able to keep myself calm. It's working in the background, even though we can't always figure out exactly how it's working and what it's doing. It does require a certain level of faith and belief in the practice that it's supporting us and giving us what we need. In meditation, there's an anchor that we get to choose to come back to. And it doesn't matter how many moments you have to come back. It doesn't matter how many times you lose track of the anchor and you get to come back to the anchor. And in some ways, that moment of coming back is very powerful, because that is the moment where you choose, okay, I'm going to let this thought go. And instead, I'm going to choose this thought, my anchor. I'm going to let the busyness of the mind, the chatter of the mind, the chaos of the mind, whatever's going on with the mind, I'm going to choose to let that go, and I'm going to come back to my anchor. Hate to break it to you. We are always going to have thoughts. We're always going to stray. We're never going to be perfect at this. But the more that we come back to our center, the more we come back to the anchor, the more peace, the more joy, the more happiness there is.